You're listening to a Mash Those Buttons podcast. Visit mashthosebuttons.com for a full podcast schedule.
Cargo secured. Extraction complete. Intelligence system analytic computer is activated. All ISAC systems are confirmed online. Data scanned. Downloading files.
What's up, guys? You listen to episode 131 of SITREP Radio, giving you the news and other happenings in the world of The Division. This week we're talking about post-launch Division 2 and if it might suffer the same fate as another game. But first, my name is Mike, and joining me are my co-hosts, Robert.
Hello.
And Luke.
Howdy.
I hope you guys and our listeners have had an awesome week, and welcome to any new listeners of the show. Right, let's get down to some news.
State of the game.
Okay, so this probably will be a quick episode. I'm sorry to our editor, Jarrett. I know I said that last week, and it ended up being about, 55 minutes?
Yeah, you were wrong.
Hey, I thought it was. Not my fault. We talked about stuff in depth, I guess.
Kind of is your fault.
Well,
you write the script, dude.
There's no script anymore. You're off the script, dude.
Oh shit, yeah, sorry. Accusing you of writing scripts.
Short news week. There's no state of the game this week, and what is actually happening in the world of The Division with regards to monthly events, Luke?
So, live as of tomorrow, November 2nd, there is a double HVT reward. Live as of November 8th, the Fang Shield will go live.
And that's it for the next couple of weeks. Okay, so we're going to go straight into a discussion this week, brought to us a little bit by Rob and some other stuff that's been going on in our community. So I want to ask you boys, The Division took a year and a half maybe to sort itself out. What do you guys think the future is looking like for the sequel? Will the Division 2 suffer the same fate as Destiny 2 on launch, or even Destiny 1?
Slip of the tongue. Or even Destiny 1.
That's
that's the same thing.
Fool me twice, I guess.
I actually talked about this while I was streaming the other day with some people in chat.
Okay, so for those people that weren't in your stream,
I can't really remember what I said.
All right, I'm going to go to Luke
it was
on this
yesterday, but I can't remember.
You can't remember what you said yesterday.
To be fair, dude, I can't even remember what I did yesterday.
Hang on. You talk for a little bit and now I remember.
I'm still flabbergasted by the fact that you did some homework and this is your discussion idea.
I know. Crazy, right?
I know. It'd be my turn next. The Division took a year to write itself, and does the future look like for the sequel? I think it would be good, to be honest. I think the dev team behind The Division are the sort of people that would learn from other people's mistakes. Like, I think Destiny 2 coming out, when did that come out? September? Last year? It's been out nearly a year, hasn't it? Or over a year,
Over a year.
That came out early enough for them to see that, stripping the game back beyond basics of the first game was just completely the wrong direction. I know we've said before on the podcast that Division 2 will, 100% not come with this same amount of content in it that we've got currently in the first game. But I mean, that any person with a brain in their head knows that's going to be true, because we've had so much content drop over the years. We've paid for updates and free updates and whatever. So, but no, I don't think they'll strip it back too far. I think there'll be plenty to do in the new game, and obviously then with the episodes and stuff coming every so often, I think it's just going to be quite content rich for at least the first 12 months is what I think.
Content aside, how do you feel like launch in general is going to go? Like, do you think it's going to be, I don't really want to say it like better or worse than the Division 1. I think that's like a case where we all want it to be in a better place from day one. But thing is, like, I don't feel like we had many problems with the Division 1 until everyone kind of hit level 30. That's then, it was a couple of weeks after that, then we really started having problems, didn't we?
You mean all the exploits and shit?
Yeah.
I mean, there was a few problems with the first game, weren't there, when it launched? Like, couldn't you walk through the same door at the same time as somebody else? Wasn't that one of the bugs in the first game to start with? You had to.
I'm pretty sure you could stand in the way of the door and stop
that's
people
what I mean.
from
Yeah,
actually
you
going through
couldn't
it.
actually pass through another agent, could you? Like you can now, where you basically all just ghost.
And there was that queue to
Yeah.
speak to the NPC in that first safe house.
Yeah.
Yeah, to activate your agent.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll get any problems like that again. Like, all joking aside, I think this game will launch 100 times better than the first one did. Because, again, they were... It's going to sound harsh, but they were simple mistakes to rectify, but they were simple mistakes to make as well, because this game is obviously way more complicated than anything the team has tackled before. So now tackling it again, the second time around, it wouldn't surprise me if they've got a quality control team in place just to check silly shit like that. Do you know what I mean?
They have a clue on what their community is like, and if there is a game-breaking bug, it will be used.
Find it within 5 minutes.
And exploited. So hopefully they'll be going through stuff with a fine-tooth comb, and yeah.
I think it's also a good chance for the beta to actually kick in and do its job, really, because any problems that you would hope wouldn't be there launch day should be kind of sorted out by the beta. So, that's going to be server tests. That's just going to be like general walking about glitches that they're probably going to be prevalent in the beta because it's not final build, is it? Even though at that point I would assume it's going to be very close to it by the time we get our hands on the beta.
Yeah.
I don't know. My opinion of the beta for a brand new game is everybody's just going to want to try all the new shit. They're not necessarily looking for stuff that might or might not be broken. But, I mean, yeah, you might be right. I'm just thinking brand new game, brand new beta. Everybody wants to get their fingers into it straight away, don't they? So,
well, it's good in some respects because it's going to load the servers.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
And that's obviously one of the big things at the minute. Is a huge problem with the Division 1 is the servers.
I think the servers have always been a bit of a problem with the Division 1, though, haven't they?
Yeah, it's been an ongoing problem for a long time, but I don't remember it being that much of a problem, like, the first 6 months. But then PvP wasn't as dedicated as it is now, but I'm not too sure. Like, I feel like the PvP game modes kind of died off due to the server issues, but
it's a double-edged coin, isn't it? Because the Dark Zone used to be a lot more full back in the day. You'd regularly be in full servers, wouldn't you? Finding rogue teams wherever you went. I mean, back when we used to go and roam around in the Dark Zone together, we'd forever be shouting squirrel, wouldn't we, and chasing after rogues. Nowadays, it's like a barren wasteland in there. But so yeah, the double-edged coin bit is you either had a full server, so you didn't realise how bad the ping was because you were always in a full server, so it didn't make any difference. And now that the servers are empty, you're in servers that aren't necessarily that local to you, so you're getting bad ping anyway. So,
plus, I've seen people on Reddit go, if you've got like really bad servers, just change your region. So then you're playing with people that technically might not even be in the region that they're supposed to be in, which then you're matching up with them, and there's like twice as much delay than is actually being set out.
Do you know you can actually buy routers now that you can set who you're gonna matchmake with. It won't matchmake you with. I don't know whether it would work with the Division, but like you can set a region. So if you enter a lobby, or if it tries to enter a lobby that's outside of that region, it won't let you join. Not that that's the solution, but
I think I think it's down to like the player base, isn't it? The player base has probably dropped off quite a bit, especially since, was it 1.8.3? there's not as many people playing the game because of the PvP. So
there's been a few interesting titles released recently, though, aren't there? That obviously people are drifting away to play these new games. So.
Yeah, I mean, we know ourselves. We follow some of the devs on Twitter and that, and the devs themselves are off playing like Spiderman, Red Dead, and God knows what else at the minute. Destiny. Destiny's doing really well at the minute.
I know Thailander picked up Red Dead 2, didn't he, on Xbox for some crazy reason?
Yeah.
I think I remember what I said.
Go for it.
Well, obviously, when Destiny launched, it was a new game, new genre. Why did you?
Oh, I just got off something that Bron from our Discord put in. We should start a Destiny drinking game every time you say that word.
Destiny. Drink.
Get your beers ready, boys.
I'm going to join in, but then I'll have to stop every time I say it. So that was a new game, new genre. Also, when The Division came out, that was along the same line, but in a different way of doing it, I guess. Obviously, when both those two games came out, they were kind of pioneering. They weren't following anything, so they had to just make mistakes and learn from them, right? When Destiny 2 came out, a lot of people, when playing the first game, when they played Trials and stuff, there was lots of thoughts of, this could be a really good competitive game if they concentrated on that. And I think that Bungie went down that line, and that's what created the shitty launch of Destiny 2. They kind of tried to balance PvP by simplifying it, by taking away random roles, by making the game less grindy, so it was more geared towards, because I think they were aiming to be like an MLG game, which they kind of half-assed because they still have peer-to-peer servers, so doesn't really make any sense. But now Destiny's done a flip and is now geared towards PvE, although that's going to piss a lot of PvPers off. It's making the game better.
They're delving more into the RPG side of it rather than trying to go into the esports side, which everybody kind of thought it was going to go, weren't they?
But I can't think of anything that we've talked about The Division and how we'd want the second game to become that would ruin it. Do you know what I mean? I don't know.
You can't see there being any way to ruin
I can't see there
Division.
being a view of, let's make this game MLG, and they try and the developers take that idea and go, let's do that, and that ruin the rest of the game just because they're trying to make certain game modes work better than others. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I know what you're getting at. I don't think any.
I think.
Go on.
Go on.
No, go.
No, go on.
I was just going to say, I don't think anybody's asking for Division PvP to be an esport, are they? I don't think anybody's ever asking for that. So that's
It was just an example.
Yeah, but I'm following on with that. I don't. That would be the only way that I could see that they could break this game. That if they completely flipped it on its head and went towards esports, sort of Rainbow Six-esque, which they're not going to do because they make that game already. There's no need to follow that same pathway with a second game. The only thing that I could think that might quote unquote ruin the game, and I don't think it would ruin it, it would just take away a lot of the grind, is obviously the frequency of the loot drops. But that's literally it. And I don't think it would ruin it, it would just soften it a bit.
But we know as a fact of the life cycle of the Division 1, if there is any issues with that, that will be rectified. I would like to think that would be the case with the Division 2. But going back to your statement on the Division being an esport, I don't think we'll ever get an esport out of the Division 2. I could be completely wrong. But that doesn't mean to say that I don't want competitive PvP in the Division 2. I would like some form of competitive PvP. We've said before, we'd like custom matches. Like, the community would make their own competitive PvP, and that's kind of what Rainbow Six did. Is that right, Rob? Like the
No.
community kind of did a little bit on the side, and then it kind of grew from there, didn't it? And
I don't
I'm
really
not
know.
I'm not really saying that it wouldn't happen in Division 2, but there's a pretty good scene for PvP, I would think, for Ghost Recon Wildlands, and there's no, competitive thing for it. There might be community competitive sides, but there's nothing that really stands out being anywhere near. Well, I don't think anything's going to stand up there with Rainbow Six, but there's not really anything that's the equivalent of that.
There's no like teams that go
No.
to tournaments and yeah.
I'd like to see that, but I don't want to lose the RPG side, which is obviously the direction that Destiny did. Whether that's right or wrong, I don't know. But I am slightly worried for the launch of the Division 2 with regards to PvP, because we don't know, we've got a month till we probably need more. We find out more news on the Dark Zone. So that's going to be interesting when we find out that. Obviously we got to be patient, but do you think if they change PvP quite a lot from the Division 1, that it's going to throw a lot of people off that enjoy the Division 1 PvP?
I think there are more people that hate Division 1 PvP than there are that like it. So they're barking up the right tree.
Yeah, it's kind of a love-hate relationship, isn't it? But yeah. The only thing, that's one thing that would
Break
probably
it.
be my answer would be the Dark Zone would probably be their weakness, if you know what I mean, like whether they gear the game towards that or not. Because they kind of did that in year 1 for a little bit. Like a lot of the drops were weighted in the Dark Zone, like all the blueprints were in there, and people kicked it off. So maybe they'll learn from that, I guess. I don't know.
I'm wondering how the community is going to react to the Division 2 Dark Zone, and if there's any additional PvP modes, because if the mechanics and how you play PvP, we already know movement is different, armor and health is different, skills are going to be slightly different, damage on weapons, and we don't know anything about best in slot. There will probably be some sort of best in slot, but I'm hoping it's going to be a lot more varied than it is now.
It's going to be a lot slower and more tactical.
Yeah.
You would think.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, is the community going to kick off that we've not got like this face tank PvP game? Because there's a lot of people that enjoy that and think they're, badass and OP, but and really good at PvP. Yet, I don't think that is great PvP. I mean, that's just my personal opinion. I've played other games as well with PvP, not just the Division. And the Division, for me, never really got to that right spot with PvP.
Should we move on to the next part of the discussion?
Yeah. Luke, any final thoughts?
No, I was trying to think of a way of saying that I really enjoyed Division PvP for a while. Without,
I think, no, we all did.
Yeah.
I would say probably the best time for me was about 1.5 to 1.6. No, 1.4 to 1.6.
Yeah. Early Dark Zone was kind of fun, but then everything in the game was fun early Division because it was all brand new. But yeah, I'd go with 1.4 to 1.6.
But like that's not even early, really. That's after a year.
No, I meant like back in vanilla, it was good as
yeah.
well, but everything was good.
But I'm trying to think, like, what has changed that has caused PvP to be completely different?
To be honest with you, I think everybody just realised kind of how bad it was and how stale it got. I mean,
but is that due to the Dark Zone? Like, we know there's stuff to do in the Dark Zone, but is it because there's not that much to do in the Dark Zone that is the issue? Or
it could be, but again, it could just be that things have got stale. Like the people that are still playing the Division now have got countless thousands of hours in the game on. Anything you do for that sort of length of time is going to get boring eventually. Like, no offense to anybody involved with the game, but that's just the nature of being a human being. Stuff gets boring after a while, doesn't it? So
Yeah, I did the same with Destiny. Like, I dropped off, but that was due to other reasons. But yeah, I understand what you're saying. Okay, so next topic from Rob. Is there anything we have played recently that you would like to see as an aspect of the Division 2? Luke, I'm going to go to you very quickly.
Mine ties in nicely to what we were just talking about with PvP, because I really want the TTK to be like at least half what it is now, if not fucking a quarter of what it is now. I've been playing a lot of Escape from Tarkov and PUBG the last couple of weeks, and if you make even half a mistake in those games, you're dead. And that's how I'd like the Division 2 PvP to be. Doesn't necessarily have to be the whole of the Division 2. I'm fine with you having a lot more TTK in PvE, but yeah, a much lower TTK in PvP would be excellent, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm worried about the TTK, and I'll be honest, I'm worried a little bit about the armor, because I hear that's one of the problems in Black Ops at the minute. That like you can be playing Black Ops and you can be hitting people at point blank range, and you're just chipping away at their armor, not their actual health. So it can take like 5-6 shots before you're actually killing them.
Can't say I've not played it. I've not watched a lot of streams. I've watched a little bit of Shocks playing it, but I mean, he's good at any PvP game, so he makes everything look easy.
Well, I watched Dr. Disrespect quit the game because he like shot this guy 4 times and all he could hear was clink, thud, 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 and then he got killed by a grenade launcher, and he was like, fuck this shit, and turned it off. So yeah.
Dr. Disrespect being dramatic.
True. Standard, I guess. But Rob, what have you been playing that you would like to see as an aspect of the Division 2? Do we need to get our
drinks ready, everybody?
Yeah, everyone ready? I've been playing Destiny 2. There's loads of stuff I would love them to borrow from their game. Definitely like any aspects of the raids. Like the end game activities on the Dreaming City would be amazing. Yeah.
One idea. I like the way Destiny has missions that you can only play at certain times during the week or like during the month. I know like we've got GEs that kind of do that, but that's like across all the missions. But Destiny does like this thing where you'll only have like a mission available that will get you X object for like a week or 3 days, and you have a set amount of time to do it.
The Nightfall system in the Destiny is brilliant now. If they could borrow that, that would be amazing. You basically have a card, you can set up your own modifiers, and you go into the, like, say, you can set the burn so that you can have it like arc singe, and then you can make it so the enemies so you have like a power deficiency. So if you're actually 600, you can make it so you're going in as like 560, which then adds to your score modifier, and you actually get a reward for completing the Nightfall, and you actually get a reward for getting 10,000 points for complete. Like if you basically have a score, you get points for killing stuff. Luke's falling asleep, doesn't give a shit. But after 15 minutes, that score starts to go down. So you've got a time limit essentially as well. And then after 18 minutes, it starts to go down really quickly, and it doesn't go up again, like if you kill stuff. But just do legendaries like that. That would be brilliant.
I think we did discuss before having the modifiers from the underground, like year 1 and year 2, but applying them to missions. I still think that would be a really cool idea, and that would be like
attach
the divisions.
Attach them to points. So you have to do it in the time limit, and you have to get to a certain score, and like getting a really high score will give you like extra stuff.
Like on the old games we used to play. I'm trying to think like Time Crisis or something like that. Where
so
you have
to get a really high score, you'd have to make it super hard because it makes your makes your multiplier. So every time you kill something, you get
Points.
more points than you would normally.
Ignoring the obvious catchphrase, what do points get you?
What, what do you mean?
Well, it's
Like,
it's an RPG. What are you getting for these points by making the missions harder for
The
yourself?
higher your score, the more loot you get at the end.
Right, yeah. I figured that was the obvious answer, but I'm just making sure there's a point to you getting all these points and not just wasting your time making the mission difficult for yourself. So
On Destiny, you get you get an emblem if you get over the 100k, and it also, if you apply that emblem, you get like a glowy thing above your head, which is vanity, but as well. But you also get an extra piece of loot,
right,
a powerful loot.
I gathered that.
For getting above that score.
Cool.
Luke, in a real world though, what do points get you?
A creepy old man staring at you.
I thought you were going to say prizes.
That's effectively what I said.
Right.
That was Brucey, wasn't it, that used to come up with that shit?
Bruce Forsyth.
Yeah, that
Why am I thinking Michael Caine?
creepy old bastard.
Where is Michael Caine? Is he about Rob?
No.
I thought you guys start talking to Michael Caine. Is there anything I would like to see in the Division 2?
You've played the most games, Mike, in the last like 3 or 4 weeks, so you probably should have a very long answer for this.
What have I played recently? Spiderman. I definitely want to be able to web through the city in the Division 2. So that's a must.
That's not what I meant by aspects of like this.
Okay, so I could probably, from Spider-Man, I could probably take the fact that roaming around the city of New York, bear in mind, we've spent a long time in New York in the Division 1, is really fun. Like, there's stuff everywhere for you to do, and it's interesting, and you're constantly on the move, and you're wanting to get to the next objective. You're wanting to go get the bits of intel, the backpacks, and all the recordings. Just
to derail you a little bit, after playing The Division and Spider-Man, do you feel like you could go to New York and not get lost?
I don't know, being honest. I feel like it's just a blur. I might be able to, but I know where certain locations are, but I don't know if I just got dumped in New York City, whether I would be able to know where the hell I am.
I'd be all right finding my way around DZ 1 to 6, but other than that, I'd get lost.
Unless you go underground, hey Luke.
Yeah, don't go underground. Fucking hell.
With regards to other games I've been playing, I've been playing Prey. The intel in that and the lore is really good, and there's a lot of it, which is pretty cool. And then Resident Evil, I can't really say Resident Evil because there's nothing from that I would want in the Division 2.
And the new game you bought.
What, the one with like cowboys and Indians?
Yeah.
In it?
Yeah. You're playing a cowboy game, I'm playing a space cowboy game.
Yeah. What cowboy game are you playing, Luke?
I'm not. I'm playing any cowboy game.
Damn. So I've been playing Red Dead Redemption 2. I was just waiting for that moment of silence. Like, what the fuck? Luke's like, not happy, dude. I've been playing Red Dead 2.
I'm ambivalent to it. I'm just going to sit here and silently judge you.
I would
Did you not know he bought it?
No, I asked him before we recorded what game he was playing, and he fucking lied to me and said I'm not playing.
I didn't say that.
You said I'm not playing anything at the moment, so you fucking lied.
Don't remember saying that.
You said it. Because I thought I was about to ask you if you'd finished Prey yet, and you said you're not playing anything. I was like, okay.
I got sidetracked, so...
Shocker.
Excuse me, I finished all the games that I've been playing recently. I even finished Hollow Knight. Thank you very much.
Did you finish Borderlands?
No, because somebody went off and played Destiny, so you can blame Rob.
I think technically that was my fault for going to play Tarkov first.
Yes, you also bugged off and played Tarkov. But the one thing I would say I would like from...
What about Borderlands? What would you take
from Borderlands? No. I'm going to end it on Red Dead 2, because this is supposed to be a short episode, and we're already going to get shit off chart for it being like 30 minutes. I like the open world, and I like the fact that if you're on a way to a mission as much as I hate it, I love it as well, is you can get distracted up to like 6 times on the way to the mission. There's so much stuff going on in that world that I really want that kind of environment in the Division 2. I want there to be a lot of stuff that's going to like engross you in this huge open world that they've got. I want them to.
Can you ignore those instances, or can you? Do you have?
You can.
To,
yeah, you can ignore them. You'll just be like somebody stood on the side of the road, like in trouble, and you can either help them out or you can walk on. A little bit like
the old Spiderman games.
Well, I was thinking one of the things from the Division 1 is like the pedestrians, where they're like fighting each other in the streets, but you didn't really interact with them. But the difference in Red Dead is you can actually interact with them, talk to them, help them out, or piss them off. Do whatever you want, and then
you can interact them in Division. You should point a gun at them; they run away.
Yeah, but it's not the same. It's not the same. Like you actually have, like you interact. You can be just walking around and you get like ambushed by a load of people. Whereas like in the Division 1, I feel like you just kind of walk around and then there's mobs of enemies just kind of walking up and down the street, and that's kind of it.
They're always in the same place. And it's always
they're always in the same place. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think the open world and the way that they've done the open world is really good.
Would you say dynamic?
It's a very, very dynamic open world. But it's not like West Side Piers where stuff's just constantly spawning. Yeah.
Yeah. Thing
is, like, you can't go hunting in the Division 2. I don't think. I mean, technically, we can have a crossbow, and we know there's going to be like deers and stuff like that, but I can't go hunting the same as I can in Red Dead Redemption.
That you know of. You might need to
I know
skin a horse or two in the Division 2 and take some food back to one of the settlements.
Well, we've got an exotic rifle coming, so maybe that will come in handy for shooting some sweet deer, but I don't know at the minute. Maybe Thailander can help us out with that one.
I mean,
whether we can...
he's going to be playing Red Dead Redemption 2 too, so, maybe he'll put it in the game. Start skinning horses.
I don't know. From what you've seen, Rob and Luke, would you like anything from the open world in the Division 2 from Red Dead? I don't suppose you guys have much of an opinion on it.
I've seen next to 2 minutes of it. I've got no opinion on it at all.
All right, cool.
I'd like to see cowboys in the Division 2.
You want to be able to wear a cowboy
and old-timey brothels.
He wants to be a rootin', tootin', shooting division agent. That's what he wants to be.
I want to walk into a bar and there'd be someone playing a piano really badly and then ask for a whiskey that comes in a shot that then burns the table because he spills it a little bit.
Gonna be honest, that just sounds like a night out near you where you live. All right, let's get down to questions. So this week, Seamaster GMT asks, in response for one of our topics that we were talking about last week, says, one of the awesome things I saw in the Division 1 was the Gold Vault underground. I actually stood there for a while to take it in. What would be something that would be really cool in the Division 2 that is similar? I thought maybe a secret government bomb shelter complex that is super hard to find, or maybe a warehouse like the one from the original Indiana Jones Raiders of the Lost Ark, where the government keeps the alien bodies and the Ark of the Covenant.
I'd like to see all the secret rooms within the White House. But I'm pretty sure I said that before. Yeah.
I mean, it's Washington, D.C. There's got to be secret stuff. It's got to be. There's got to be like secret bomb shelters and stuff. There just has to be.
Wasn't National Treasure all about secret stuff within America?
Yeah.
We could get all Nick Cage on Division 2.
I'd like to see something to do with hunters, potentially something I've probably brought up before, but I would like something like an NPC factions hideout and they're just ripped to shreds and there's like hunters stuff left there.
What if the hunters were like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles of DC?
And they don't actually fight, they just dance.
They lived in the sewers with a giant rat that taught them how to be hunters.
Kind of feel like we've gone off track.
and he was also animatronic.
I mean, to be fair, that could happen because there's a huge Easter egg from the Turtles in the Division 1, isn't there? There's like a pizza with like a sword and nunchucks next to it, isn't there? Something like
that, yeah. There's a few of those lying around, isn't there? Like throwbacks to Breaking Bad and other shit that I can't remember for the life of me right now. There's loads of them.
There's a donut, isn't there, from Simpsons? Is there a Simpsons donut somewhere, like painted on a wall? Am I making that up?
There is a donut graffiti somewhere. Yeah, I suppose that's a Simpsons throwback or Easter egg, whatever you want to call it.
Our next question comes from Snake762.
Smooth.
That says,
that sounded like edited then, did it? Cut to the next question.
In response to our conversation on lacking news last week, he says he thinks we will drop more content after Christmas as more games are released and they have to compete for players' money.
No, that's a good point. This is the busy game for months, isn't it? For months for games. Said that backwards. My bad.
Yeah, gaming this time of the year, like you think how many games are coming out? I think it's like we talked about it at work. For it was like one every week, or almost on the lead up to Christmas. It's it's
kind of annoying, to be honest.
Yeah, if you're on Twitter, then you definitely see this a lot. It's like this
game
out.
Is brilliant.
Next week,
this game is brilliant. Next
week,
this game is brilliant.
Next week. I've just seen how long we can keep this.
This game is brilliant.
Somebody slapped Robbie stuck.
There are some awesome games out there, and I do understand that they're holding off.
It's a shame because everything just gets saturated. So like the really good games get missed.
This happened when Skyrim came out ages ago. Do you remember? There was like 3-4 months of the year, early part of the year, and I just remember I had like Skyrim, I think a Devil May Cry game, Dark Souls. It was just stacked every week, and I was spending a lot of money on games compared to what I spend on games now. Yeah. Any thoughts, Luke?
No, I echo what Rob and you said. I agree. There'll be a lot more content drops after Christmas. I mean, we know we're getting a news drop, next month with the Dark Zone news. So, I mean, who knows? Maybe they're just going to start dripping it out every couple of weeks rather than every month or so. And we're still getting the dev blogs and that, aren't we? There's a dev blog due at the end of this month, if I'm not mistaken. So, that's news of sorts, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, we just got to wait to the end of the month to try and figure out what is going to be announced in that dev blog. We did have feedback from Brynhilde, who says, love having adult conversations about these types of things, and typing can be a pain. Love the podcast. Keep up the great work. Just thought I would try and pick your brains about two things, since we're totally on different sides of the pond.
This was feedback in Discord because he was trying to talk to me about our conversation last week about toxicity in gaming, and he didn't necessarily agree wholeheartedly with my point of view that you shouldn't be swearing at other players whilst you're on voice over IP in the Dark Zone. Didn't necessarily completely disagree with it, but he said, it's the Dark Zone that's to be expected.
Yeah, I mean, what we say here is subjective. We all are like agree and disagree between the three of us, and we understand listeners would as well. He did say it's generally the culture the world has made for itself. The internet has changed the way people talk with each other, and to do something to help protect them is totally out of line. I think I'm reading that off. But it basically goes into banning those players is great for the community, but also some of those players are spending money on the microtransaction side, which is obviously keeping the game running as well. So
yeah,
it's difficult because you don't want to ban the people still playing the games, but it's also not good representation for your community, I guess.
I'd love to see them take the warning and banning system that obviously Ubisoft are already using in Rainbow Six, which is, very well set up for toxicity. If they could implement something similar to that in the Divisions, like specifically for the Dark Zone, I think it'd be a good thing. But
I just like the fact that he was basically saying, like the same way that you guys like Destiny 2, on about only the fact that one of us is wholeheartedly into Destiny 2, one of us will never play Destiny again, and one of us on the fence. I've got Red Dead. I'm good.
Is that why you bought Red Dead? So you weren't tempted to buy Destiny 2?
Does that make you proud, Luke?
It's only a matter of time, though.
Yeah.
I'm just going to keep nudging you, and then eventually you'll fall off that fence.
Bit like Humpty Dumpty.
Either that or the Division 2 will be out by then, so it's fine.
Oh.
I can just keep buying other games till then. Anyway, let's end this show. Robert, where can the listeners find us?
You can find us over at SITREP Radio on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube, as well as our personal accounts. Stop making funny faces. Like Mr. Bean. Send any questions or feedback for the show to sitradio@gmail.com. Or you can find us on Discord. The link will be in the show notes. We want to hear your thoughts on the news and topics we cover in the show, so please leave a comment and join the discussion in any of those places. Luke?
Please leave a review of the show using the podcast app of your choice. We really do enjoy reading your reviews. The feedback is genuinely pretty excellent, and at the end of the day, it does help to other people to find our show. If you're brave enough to listen all the way to the very end of the show, you will hear all the juicy details about the other awesome shows that are available on the Mash Those Buttons network. Thank you.
We do live stream as often as we can, so if you're interested in dropping by and chatting with us whilst we play The Division and some other games, you can find us over at twitch.tv/SITREP Radio. And a very quick shout out before we leave the show today, boys. I don't know if anybody had a chance to drop by Wilco's stream from one of the lads from Locked On, as they were playing Just Dance 2019 over there. Or was it 2019 or 2018? I don't know which one.
2019's now, yeah, dude.
I don't know. It could have been like FIFA. They do the next one. I don't have a fucking clue.
No, it's not out yet.
But they had some sweet moves over there. They had, was it Butter? McDad was over there. And I can't remember. There was somebody else. But yeah, they put on a pretty entertaining show over there.
I'm quite sad that I missed that, to be honest.
I also missed
it. If you are sad that you missed that, you can go check it over on Wilco's Chill Zone on Twitch.
I might have to, because there's going to be an endless amount of content that I can use to take the piss out of all four of them, surely.
I gotta be honest, some of the moves were pretty good. They did well.
Yeah, I will hold my hands up now. I'm sure all four of them can dance better than I can, but at least my dancing's not on video.
True, but it was still awesome to watch. So well done, lads. And I don't know who won. I will check out the VOD and find out. But they were playing pretty late. Must have been like 12 o'clock at night or something. Anyway, good job, lads.
So drunk dancing, right?
There might have been drinking involved. Anyway, let's go. We have been SITREP Radio. Thank you very much for listening, agents, and we will catch you in the next episode. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for choosing a Mash Those Buttons podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show. If you'd like to subscribe to one of our shows, you can find us on multiple podcast platforms across iOS and Android. Just search for the show on a podcatcher like Apple Podcasts or Google Podcasts and hit subscribe. If you can't find us on your favorite podcast platform of choice, just go right to the mashthosebuttons.com website, grab the RSS feed, and put it into your podcatcher of choice. If you want to check out some other podcasts you may enjoy, you should check out mashthosebuttons.com/shows. For World of Warcraft fans, we have two podcasts, WoW Talk, which is our news and community podcast, and The Torn and the Goblin, which is our lore and story podcast. If you enjoy Overwatch, make sure to check out Watchpoint Radio to keep up with the latest on Overwatch and its community. If you enjoy fighting games, make sure you check out Double Tap for the latest in the FGC. If you're a fan of The Division or looking forward to The Division 2, make sure you check out SITREP Radio. If you want to keep up with the latest at Mash Those Buttons, you can follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/mtbsite, facebook.com/mashthosebuttons, and youtube.com/mashthosebuttons. We'd also like to have you join our Discord community. So just go to discord.me/mashthosebuttons and join us for a chat. Once again, thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time. You're listening to a Mash Those Buttons podcast. Visit mashthosebuttons.com for a full podcast schedule.
Cargo secured. Extraction